Hey guys, it's Sensational and I'm back. It's been some time since I last made a video, but I've just been so busy I've not been able to have as much fun as I'd liked. So, now that I'm back, I'm hoping I can start a series of videos and keep them in line with the usual gaming focus and how I enjoy them, and hopefully you can enjoy them too. I will be doing a review of sorts on one of my favourite games with my favourite franchise, and that is Star Wars The Force Unleashed. So I'm going to just go into it and I hope you enjoy this video. Okay, here you can see the iconic Star Wars opening crawl. From memory, every game has this, just as the main movie trilogies do. As always, the crawl will explain the background of the events that lead up and set the premise of the game, and to give you a bit of background information on the game itself though, I can tell you that it came out in 2008 around September, November time on console, and it followed on PC the following year. And there was some releases on iOS and even the Nokia N-Gage, but I never really looked into those because it just wouldn't give the game any justice really. As an avid gamer and massive Star Wars fan, you would want to experience it in the best way possible, and that was console. And I can also say that I have this on PC and PS3, but the footage that I will be showing you in this video is recorded from my PS5 through the PlayStation Plus premium tier, where the game is actually streamed from Sony's servers. And it's because of that you'll notice that the graphics will seem quite dated, more so than normal, because the PlayStation servers only let you stream PS3 games in 720p instead of the native 1080p that you would expect. And lastly, you're probably wondering why I'm playing this on console anyway if I have it on PC, and there's two simple answers for that. I like hunting trophies, and the game is made for a controller. Keyboard and mouse do not cut it, especially on the harder difficulties for this game. I've tried. So you can see here that the game starts off with the opening crawl, explaining what's going on, and Darth Vader going to the planet Kashyyyk to hunt down this Jedi. And straight off cuts off into quite a nice cinematic. But having a look at it, you can see that the graphics are a bit old. Not what you'd expect, but when I first played this game, as you can see at this moment, I was like a 5-year-old again. Just excited. You see Darth Vader coming down out of the ship, and he looks like he means business. I mean, just look at him. Look at him. He's walking. There's dead stormtroopers. He has no care or disregard for what's going on around him. Stormtroopers are dying. He's just walking. He's got his Imperial officer there. Look at him. He looks so ugly. Okay, just to add from that, like, we go straight into the game after this cutscene, and there we go. You can see me as Darth Vader walking about, jumping, blasting a tree because why not? Collecting some blaster shots, and I come across a Wookiee who I quickly grab by the Force, throw a lightsaber at, and push away. So yeah, looking at that, you can see that you can interact with the environment quite a bit compared to some other old games, especially for that time. So it shows there's a bit more immersive and interaction with your actual environment. And you can see this in some other clips later on, where I'm using like crates and parts of the ships and things and throwing them at people and causing damage, lots of damage. But here in the prologue, it just kind of gives you a feel for some of the powers in the game. So it's a bit of a, not quite a tutorial, but it's a bit of a taster of the sort of powers you will unlock playing through the game. And it sets up the story quite nicely, and let's just go. Turn back! Okay, just starting with this, you can see that I've gotten into a bit of a fight here with the rogue Jedi that the opening call mentioned. So I'm in a battle with them, and you can see there's a quick time event. So this game did include quick time events for some of the bosses and mini bosses, actually all the bosses and some mini bosses did have these quick time events. And as the difficulty gets higher in the game, the quick time events become a bit more tighter for time and a bit less forgiving if you make a mistake. So you need to be quite quick. But just skip part of this fight right to the end, and you can see there's another quick time event that kind of wraps up what's going on in the fight. So look at this Darth Vader doing his choke. He's throwing them from the tree to the building, back to the ground. Like, Darth Vader is not going to let this guy let it be. He means to kill. Look at this. Look at this. Blasts him through the door. And I wonder if you look at closely what that symbol was on the door. Just think about that. But you can see this, and then it goes straight into a cinematic again. So it does cut between game and cinematic quite well. Keeps the environment going, and you can see here that he's choking the Jedi. He's about to kill him, and look what happens. Just a small spoiler: this child that has just took the lightsaber from Darth Vader is you. You will end up playing him, and he is the main character, Galen Marek. That's his real name in the game, but he goes by the name of Starkiller. Just like everyone has a different name in Star Wars. If you're a bad guy, like Darth Vader being Anakin, and then Sidious being Palpatine. So yeah, this sets that up, and then you can just see the game fast forwards a little into the present or the future, depending on how you want to look at it, and it basically starts off the game from here. And having played this the first time all those years ago, I was on it, like, it was just full of suspense. I was excited. I think I played the game for about 8 hours non-stop that day. Okay, just to fast forward a bit, you can see that the game's got some collectibles, having just collected a yellow lightsaber crystal. The game has different lightsaber crystals that you can find and use, but also different power crystals that do affect your lightsaber's abilities. Right, whether it's to be better at reflecting blaster bolts, draining life, or doing more damage, electrical damage, guarding better, it's all there. And you unlock those just by playing the game and coming across them, finding them. Usually you can find most of the holocrons in the game without trying, but there's always about 3 or 4 per level that requires a bit of hunting. But just playing the game, you can see that there's quite the action's quite fluid. Having a quick time here with one of the mini bosses, one of the walkers, it's quite fun, and it's different for each mini boss. It's never the same animation. And here you can see that I'm fighting one of the main bosses, and it's got its own unique combination of quick time events that you need to nail depending on the battle. So this one was for General Kota, and it's different for each boss, like I said. They really do take the environment into account when you're playing.
Strong in the Force.
And just moving on, you can see now I'm on a different planet. You do travel through different planets, but it's not like a game where you can choose where to go, like Mass Effect or the Knights of the Old Republic series. It's quite a linear storyline, so you can revisit different stages of the game, but you can't freely do that. You can't freely travel between worlds. In any event, each level also gives you new powers usually. In this case, having just unlocked the Force Repulse ability. And there's another holocron, like I said, right at the start. No problems. Okay, while we watch the cinematic, you're going to wonder what the hell is going on, and that might influence you in trying this game out. But what I can say is, and hopefully you all will know this, that this game is no longer considered canon in the Star Wars expanded universe, not since Disney purchased the Star Wars franchise from George Lucas and rewrote pretty much everything that happened outside the movies and Clone Wars series. So here, this was the original canon for Star Wars, having had some influence from George Lucas's team and himself into what this game would cover and some of the key points in the game. So here you can see this, like, I'm not even going to explain it, you just watch it. I don't want to spoil it. too much, but just hopefully give you a bit of insight into what goes on in this game and why it has got a lot of suspense and a number of twists and turns that probably will give you a lot of fan service if you're a Star Wars fan. But in any way, you might even recognise the voice of Starkiller here, and that's because he's voiced by Sam Witwer, the same actor that voiced the Sun in Clone Wars, the Emperor in Rebels, and also Darth Maul in both Clone Wars and Rebels, alongside some other extra additional voices. So he is a very well-known actor, particularly in the Star Wars universe. So hopefully that can influence you to try and give this game a go. If not, then I don't know what I can say about that. But I'm very thoroughly impressed with his acting skills. So this game has many big moments in it, and one of the biggest moments and one of my favourites is when you shoot this ball of lava or molten metal from the junkyard planet into space at the nearby shipyard, and that causes the Star Destroyer to come and investigate what's going on, and you are basically fighting 1v1 with a Star Destroyer. But one of the best moments in this is when, as you'll see, after having to fight off the TIE fighters, the method at which I need to get rid of the Star Destroyer. If you're reading the video subtitles in the game, you see what I'm being told to do. And I'm not going to outright say it, because if you've played this game before and you've watched the recent Obi-Wan Kenobi series, Darth Vader does something very similar, which is quite a nice throwback to this game, given that this game came out so long ago. Some things have lasted and are continued to be reused in what's now considered canon for Star Wars, such as this stage where you're pulling a ship down by the sheer power of the Force and to bring it crashing down onto the planet, destroying it. There's not really much for it, but it shows the grand scope of Star Wars, and it just shows how powerful these Jedi would be in the Star Wars universe. I mean, this is the story about this game is you play a Starkiller, someone that's naturally just very, very strong in the Force, so much so that Darth Vader takes a personal interest in you to keep you safe from the Stormtroopers and the Emperor, and trains you in the ways of the dark side. Like, Darth Vader would not do that, especially with the new canon, given that he had all these Inquisitors. Even though he had the Inquisitors, that they were dark side Force users, they worked for him, but did they have that sort of scope to go out eliminating other Jedi for him in secrecy? I don't know. I mean, you watch Kenobi, you've played Fallen Order, you've seen Rebels and Clone Wars, you'll know that everyone knew of the Inquisitors within the Empire, but in this case no one knows of them, or you rather, as Starkiller. So it's quite a nice plotline to follow through the game, and it allows the game to exhibit the full strength of the Force that you mastered, especially when you're bringing down a Star Destroyer with the thing that you're working for. It's worth just adding a bit more there that Star Wars does now take more inspiration from the old canon than it would seem, having no longer got a Jedi or Sith going by the name of Starkiller. They did repurpose the name of Starkiller for Starkiller Base in The Force Awakens. So although the old canon was deemed obsolete or disregarded and is no longer really developed or expanded upon, it does heavily influence everything that Star Wars is building upon now going forward. Because outside of this game, you will have seen, whether, depending on how big a Star Wars fan you are, that in Rebels they brought back Tron. So that's just one of the things, but it's quite good. Just because it's a game and it's not a movie, never meant that it did not fit into the greater Star Wars universe. Coming back to the game itself, and not only it's holding a valuable place in the old Star Wars canon, The game did allow for you to have some sort of sadistic fun when you were defeating your enemies. So like at the start of the video you see me launching a Wookiee halfway across the map. Here you can see I have just disintegrated some stormtroopers. To wrap things up, I hope I've been able to make this video enjoyable for you and explain why I've come back to playing it and enjoyed my time doing so, and hopefully you would give it a go as well and experience what the Star Wars universe used to be like in all its previous glory. That's everything for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel, and if you've got any games you'd like me to cover next time, just drop in the comment section below. Thanks.